Today, we're exploring a scene that exemplifies the brilliance of classic Hollywood filmmaking. Classic Hollywood films are renowned for their ability to convey complex emotions and narratives with remarkable efficiency, a quality that remains unparalleled in cinematic history. Meyerhold, mentor to Sergei Eisenstein, famous for his montage theory, once said, "The secret is to be concise, yet convey so much. The artist's task is to achieve maximum richness with deliberate economy." For example, a single flowering branch can evoke the feeling of an entire spring for the Japanese. We, on the other hand, describe the whole spring but fail to match the impact of that single branch. This philosophy is perfectly embodied in the work of Raoul Walsh, one of the most accomplished directors of the classical Hollywood era. Despite his extraordinary achievements, Walsh doesn't receive the recognition he deserves. I think he's one of the top 3 filmmakers in history. To illustrate this, let's delve into a powerful scene from Walsh's Purseu. Before watching, here's the context you need to fully appreciate the emotions at play. The story centers around 2 young men, Jeb and Adam, who grew up in the same household but are not biological brothers. When one of them is required to be drafted into the military, Jeb suggests flipping a coin to decide their fate. Adam's younger sister, Thor, steps in and declares that she will toss the coin instead. When the coin toss determines that Jeb will be drafted, Thor is visibly upset. In her frustration, she throws the coin at the window, breaking it. Now, let's watch the scene and see how Raoul Walsh uses simple, deliberate imagery to evoke rich emotions and create a timeless cinematic moment.
Goodbye, Jeb.
So long.
Come home, Jeb.
Until I do, maybe you'd like this for a keepsake. I guess it sort of slipped out of your hand. Right through the window, too.
It didn't slip. I threw it.
I don't blame you. You wanted to keep Adam here, so you lied about the toss.
I wanted to lie, but I didn't. If I had, it would have been to keep you here, not Adam.
You felt that way, too. Same way I felt.
I was supposed to be your sister. That's how it's been ever since we were kids. Only I stopped being your sister, and you've never been my brother. I had to go on every day pretending, watching you all day, letting you touch me. At night, gone in my room, lying there, thinking about you. I wish I had lied. I wish I'd cheated about the toss and kept you here.
Wait for me.
Oh, you know I will.
I'll leave him at the A-File livery stable. You can pick him up in the morning.
So long. Give them Spaniards heck for me.
I'll do that.
This video masterfully portrays the emotions of the male and female protagonists, not as raw, spontaneous feelings, but as deliberately crafted moments shaped by the director's calculated choices. In the first scene, we see Jeb noticing the coin Thor threw and the hole it created in the shattered window. The subsequent scene frames Jeb and Thor at a distance, further emphasizing the divide between them. When comparing these two scenes, a striking contrast emerges. The hole in the window appears physically close to Jeb, while Thor stands much farther away. This carefully constructed framing underscores the emotional and psychological distance between the two characters. The towering doorway where Thor stands adds to this effect. Its height dwarfs her figure, making her appear small and vulnerable, evoking a sense of isolation. The atmosphere in these scenes is dark and subdued. Thor's face is simply surrounded by darkness, creating a stark and somber mood. This dark environment serves as a prelude to a dramatic shift. When Thor declares, "I wanted to lie about the result of the coin toss. I wanted to send Adam and have you stay here," the lighting transforms. Thor's face, previously enveloped in darkness, is suddenly illuminated. This precise lighting change highlights the intensity of her emotions as she gets closer passionately to Jeb. What stands out here is how the lighting itself becomes a tool to convey emotions that go beyond words, actions, or even the narrative. Thor's glowing face, paired with the light reflecting off her hair, creates a vivid, almost explosive depiction of her feelings. The brilliance of her hair in the light becomes a visual metaphor for the emotional intensity she has been holding back, now fully revealed. By comparing these two moments, we see how the director uses lighting to dramatically alter the perception of the characters' relationship. At first, the two seem distant and cold, but with a calculated shift in lighting, the scene transforms, and their bond becomes one of overwhelming passion. The lighting doesn't just support the story, it enhances it, conveying a level of emotional depth that transcends what words and actions alone can achieve. The sight of Thor watching Jeb leave the house in this scene is truly remarkable. At first, we see Jeb and Adam talking. When Jeb departs, viewers naturally expect to see a scene showing Jeb leaving. However, the camera defies expectations by moving in the opposite direction of Jeb's path, instead revealing Thor. This moment surprises the audience because Thor's appearance comes at an unexpected and irregular timing. One of the key elements that makes Thor's presence so impactful in this scene is the stark contrast with Jeb's image. Viewed in slow motion, Jeb appears smaller than Adam and is shown in silhouette, which makes his presence feel understated. The camera movement emphasizes the contrast, making Thor appear far more prominent in size and significance. Thor is shown as much larger than Adam, with her face clearly visible. Unlike the shadowy depiction of Jeb, it evokes a profound sense of loneliness and sadness. Thor's presence reveals the quiet heartbreak of a woman watching the lover she just expressed her love for walk away. Raoul Walsh's exceptional direction is particularly evident here. With a simple camera movement, he creates a visual and emotional contrast that powerfully conveys the sorrow and isolation felt by Thor. The scene, which shows Jeb leaving home while Thor watches, is especially moving because the connection between the two characters is tightly intertwined. Let's analyze this moment in slow motion to understand why Jeb's departure feels so poignant. Notice Jeb's appearance in relation to the two rocky mountains in the background. As Jeb passes the fence, the height difference between him and the mountains is not very noticeable. However, as Jeb turns to the right, moving toward the silhouetted rocky mountain, the contrast becomes more striking. The dark silhouette of the mountain towers over Jeb, amplifying his smallness. Of course, even without the Rocky Mountains in the background, Jeb's appearance would naturally diminish as the distance between him and the viewer increases. But the imposing height of the mountain intensifies the visual contrast, emphasizing Jeb's solitude and the emotional weight of his leaving. Interestingly, Jeb seems to turn toward a brighter rocky mountain rather than passing through the darker one. As he runs, the ground beneath him transitions from barren earth to grassy terrain as he approaches the bright mountain. On the screen, the two rocky mountains appear close together. However, in reality, the brighter mountain would likely be much farther away than the darker one. As Jeb moves toward this distant, the bright mountain, the height difference between the two becomes more apparent. This visual detail enhances the feeling that Jeb is leaving not only physically, but emotionally, moving further away from home and the people he is leaving behind. Through these thoughtful visual choices, the scene captures a poignant sense of longing and separation, leaving a lasting emotional impact on the viewer. In this séance, I'll talk about the most striking moment in the film I analyzed, the scene where Thor watches Jeb leave. This moment stands out as the best scene for several reasons. I'll break down why it's so powerful. What makes this scene so outstanding is how it contrasts with the one before it. Let's compare the two scenes where Thor watches Jeb leave. In the first shot, on the left, Thor's gaze is directed to the side. In the second shot, on the right, his gaze shifts more forward than in the first. This difference might seem subtle, but it's incredibly meaningful. In the first shot, Thor's gaze aligns perfectly with the next moment, where Jeb passes diagonally through the fence. It suggests that they're still close, both physically and emotionally. However, in the second shot, Thor's forward-looking gaze tells us that the distance between them, both literal and metaphorical, has grown much wider. This change in gaze direction is carefully synchronized with Jeb's running, emphasizing the growing separation between them. The cleverness of this approach lies in its simplicity. Instead of relying on flashy camera techniques or exaggerated staging, director Raoul Walsh uses a subtle change in gaze to amplify the emotional impact of the moment. Thor's gaze does more than just indicate that Jeb is leaving. It's a window into her emotions. Even in the darkness of night, her eyes remain vividly clear against the dark background. This contrast highlights her heartbreak as she watches Jeb, the man she loves, walking away. This choice of lighting and framing perfectly captures Thor's internal turmoil, her sorrow and longing as she grapples with the distance between them. Her gaze tells us everything we need to know about her emotions, without the need for dialogue. But that's not all. The scene isn't just about Thor and Jeb, it's also about Adam. As Thor watches Jeb, Adam is watching her. Through Thor's intense focus on Jeb, Adam realizes her feelings for him. And once Jeb is out of sight, Thor shifts her gaze to Adam, creating a moment of awkwardness charged with emotion. In this single scene, we experience multiple layers of storytelling. 1. Thor's heartbreaking emotions. 2. The visual confirmation that Jeb has left. 3. Adam's realization of Thor's love for Jeb. 4. The awkward tension as Thor notices Adam watching her. All of this is communicated visually, without a single word spoken. It's a masterclass in efficient storytelling. Raoul Walsh's direction in this scene exemplifies the efficiency and elegance of classic Hollywood filmmaking. By simply altering the direction of a gaze, he conveys complex emotions and relationships with clarity and precision. This scene is a testament to the brilliance of Walsh's craft, and serves as a shining example of what makes classic Hollywood cinema so timeless. Thor watching Jeb leave is more than just a powerful moment. It's a reflection of everything great about classic filmmaking. The subtlety, the emotional depth, and the layered storytelling all come together to create an unforgettable scene.